biochemical cell salts, the kit. And then you'll have the bioplasma. Calcium. Calcium sulfate. Show you really briefly how the biochemical cell salts look. So basically they're these real little white tablets. You put 2 of them under your tongue, they dissolve, they're kind of sweet a little bit, like sugar. And then don't get it twisted. They actually work, and you cannot, like I talked to people about this, and I think somebody got it a little bit confused. But you cannot take all the biochemical cell salts in this quantity all at one time, like 12 underneath the tongue. And the reason is because each of these do different things. That's why you have to study it first. But the actual knowledge of the biochemical cell salts will get you so in touch with your body and the organs and the different divisions of the organs, as I talked about earlier. You'll be able to understand exactly when something needs to be tightened up. And you'll be able to tweak with your body sometimes, like, okay, I want to feel lighter, but I also want to be awake, but I also want to be very calm. You see what I mean? So, and you understand what salts to actually take to accomplish that frequency. And then this is what happens with the body. The body is a learner. It's learning, just like everything else that we experience in life. And even dogs can be trained, animals can be trained. So when the body sees how to do something, it then, especially if it pleases you, or pleases the master, meaning that you're the master of your body, it pleases you that your body is working very well, then it wants to go into that zone, and it knows how to go into that zone naturally. So you see what I mean? How just because everything is functioning on this separate level doesn't mean that doesn't serve to be some kind of major benefit to us. In addition to that, that even though everything is working on this separate level within the body, it's all inside of the body. So then when you want to see what the immediate reality is that is around you, what it's like, it's just like that. It's all of these different bodies in different countries and different creeds, etc., still all in one world, working with the world. But the major thing that needs to occur with us, obviously, is that we're going to have to work for the world's progression, meaning that we're going to have to work to actually enliven ourselves. So if you look at the population, just so you can get the tune of the work that needs to be done here, the tune of this then is that the planet itself is in a level of just like the masses body, meaning that the higher percentage of conditions of people's body, what are they doing? They're eating meat, they're not getting the proper nutrients, they're not getting any of the cell salts, they're not basically expanding at all, they're asleep. That's the masses, okay? So the mass of the planetary frequency would be the same, not different. So that means you also encase a solution to the situation. Once you can begin to bring up frequencies, don't start thinking about bringing like you're going to teach your knowledge or whatever to everyone. That's not really how it's going to work. It's going to work with a few people that can gain heavy levels of knowledge and application, right? They're going to get that frequency and they're going to start spreading that frequency everywhere. There are people who believe that if you take a great number of different cell salts without carefully checking which are right for your symptoms, they will cancel each other out. And okay, let me explain to you again, maybe that person already got the answer earlier, but I will explain in depth that when you're using these biochemical cell salts, you are treating your body based on the symptom. Now, the symptom could be drowsiness. The symptom could be not sharp, meaning the mind is dull and not responding and forgetful, etc. So if you're treating, that is a symptom that you'll be treating, so you're treated directly. It's not one of those things which is sometimes the haphazard way of what we learn of how to take herbs and take medicines. We just throw it in. Like somebody says, this is good for you, and then they just put it in, and they're like, okay, the body will sort it out. That's not how it works. You have to make sure that what you're putting it in is actually going to treat whatever it is that you're trying to enhance or trying to rid yourself of. You see what I mean? So also consider that what the moon is doing is it's using a magnetic field. So of course, during the full moon, the magnetic sensations are a lot higher and things replicate during that time. So of course, all the worms and things in the body and all that stuff replicate more during the full moon. And this is the big cause of the major frequency change within a lot of people. And I can't give you fine details, but just understand, it just has to do with whether you're going to get rid of something or whether you're adding something, either addition or subtraction. And so it's either wax or wane. Okay? And the reason why this becomes important, because some people say, well, look, man, I don't think that's important. But it's just like this for a farmer. You don't plant tomatoes in the winter. So if you understand that sequence in itself, then you actually know when to, what they say, either to plant or to reap. This is one of those major things that you have to set up in your own astronomical clock. Because you're dealing with a universe, you need to get these things in line. You need to check out the orbits, make sure the orbits are actually circular in many senses, and that there's an understanding of the coils, and there's an understanding of the energies, etc. We've made sure that we've done our homework. So when we speak out against fluoride, you do have some people that sit there and tell you that fluoride is supposed to be good for you. The end of that whole thing is that the fluoride that is in toothpaste is not the same fluoride that you see in here. So it's just the chemical breakdown. And like we were talking about with the water, if you're not making your own water, you can't really say exactly how that water and what elements and what minerals, and if it's artesian water and all that. You don't have that security. So again, to gain the security, do your research. Also make sure that you're not, again, going insanely organic in the sense where you're like, everything's got to be organic, everything's got to be fresh, everything's got to be natural. And you're talking about something that is a base element in the first place and has to be assimilable to the body. Just like you can't just take calcium. Calcium is not assimilable to the body. There's of course an ocean calcium that generally you use is assimilable to the body, and generally it has to be picoulated, meaning put in a state where the body can actually take it in, or else it just sits there and it clogs up around the glands. And then that becomes worse than, or it doesn't have an effect, and that of course becomes worse than utilizing something that will have the effect but may contain some lactose. So there you have it. And the other thing was I noticed that there wasn't as much lactose in it, because I'm even somewhat can deal with a lot of lactose, to cause reactions, especially if you got it in your system enough. So I don't think that's one of the major concerns with the biochemical cell salts, at least these. So I'll have to research, what else is out there and see what they have going on.